The FC Barcelona dressing room is on the brink of collapse. Marcus Rashford is setting training sessions alight, overshadowing historic figures. Hansi Flick is making cold decisions that could sideline Frenkie de Jong and make Joan Garcia an undisputed starter. And that's not all. A silent betrayal, a secret recruitment from France, and a financial bombshell that could change Barca's future forever. Are you ready to discover what no one dares to tell about the new Barcelona? Let's begin. The silent revolution of Barca. Recruitments, betrayals, and decisions that will change everything. Sometimes, what starts as a simple internal movement ends up triggering a storm. And at FC Barcelona, this storm has already begun. The times when La Masia prospects had a guaranteed place in the first team due to their past merits are over. Today, decisions are surgical, with no room for sentimentality. And in the middle of this surgical process, one of the most painful cases is that of Dany Rodriguez. In his time, Dany was not just a hope, he was a real promise for many within the club. His talent on the flank, his precise left foot, and his knack for scoring made it seem like his breakthrough was just a matter of time. But time in elite football is unforgiving. Constant injuries kept him away, but he never gave up. He firmly believed that his opportunity would come. Even when his debut against Valladolid turned into a disaster with a new injury that momentarily extinguished his dreams, he kept the faith. This fighting spirit led him to have a close relationship with Flick, the new helmsman of Barca. A meticulous, cold, but direct coach. Flick made Dany believe that his moment was near. And not only that, the player took it so seriously that he sat down with Joan Laporta and Deco to let them know, "I only stay if I have a place in the first team." It was a declaration of intent, a final act of trust, but football does not always reward loyalty. The technical management had other plans, and while Dany waited for his turn, Marcus Rashford and Rooney Barchi arrived, both wingers, both ready to compete in the first team. And with their arrival, the door for Dany slammed shut. He felt it as a betrayal because it was not just about competition, but a direct message, "We no longer count on you." Dany's entourage did not take long to react. Flick's promises vanished. Deco's decisions seemed cold and calculated. The player, who had bet on staying, now felt that something more than minutes had been stolen from him. His future had been taken away. And with this in mind, Dany has already started to listen to new proposals. He is not doing it out of rage, but with determination. He wants minutes, continuity, and to prove that his story does not end here. And beware, because suitors are not lacking. From the north, Athletic Club has asked about him. In the Premier League, Tottenham is closely following him. Even Real Sociedad, his training club, dreams of his return. But Dany is clear that he does not want to hide in a loan without purpose. He is looking for a place where he can become a protagonist again and, who knows, perhaps return one day through the big door of Camp Nou. Casado, once an untouchable jewel, has now become a possible bargaining chip. And the reason is not football-related, it is purely economic. Flick wants a balanced squad, without excess weight in the midfield, and the management needs to free up salary mass to comply with the league's strict controls. In this scenario, Casado is no longer so untouchable. Arsenal wants him, Chelsea is following him, and Mundo Deportivo assures that the Gunners are ready to put €40 million on the table. An offer difficult to ignore for a club that needs to make room in its budget, like someone who needs air to breathe. Barca is evaluating the operation, and so is Flick. And although Casado is loved in the dressing room, in the offices, his sale is seen as a golden opportunity. The Premier League is rubbing its hands, knowing that Casado could be one of the most profitable signings of the summer. And if Barcelona decides to let him go, the decision would send a resounding message. In this new Barca, names are not protected. The only thing that matters is balance and the future. And while some leave or are about to leave, others remain stronger than ever. The case of Jules Koundé is the best example. He arrived at Barca to be a central defender, but he ended up reinventing himself as a right back. And he did it so well that even Flick surrendered to his commitment. 53 matches played, 4 goals, 8 assists, and spectacular chemistry with LAMINE YAMAL that has shaken more than one flank in Europe. But don't be fooled, Koundé continues to dream of playing in the center. He has said it in private and accepts it in public. However, he is a professional, and as long as his presence on the flank remains vital, he will not move. This versatility, this commitment, have been key for Barca to make a strategic decision: renew him until 2030. The agreement is already closed. According to L'Equipe and RMC Sport, the signature is a matter of days. Everything has been directed by Deco in coordination with his agent, Jonathan Queeb. Fabrizio Romano has also confirmed it. The operation not only guarantees him a salary improvement but also protects him from European giants. Because yes, Manchester City had already approached his entourage, but Count has clear ideas. He wants to continue at Barca, he wants to be a reference, and his renewal is just the beginning, because the club has also tied down PEDRI, GAVI, Rafinha, Inigo Martinez, and, of course, LAMINE YAMAL. All are key pieces of Flick's new project, which is beginning to take shape as a solid structure, without cracks. And this is where Marcus Rashford comes into play, a recruitment that generated doubts until he set foot in the Ciudad Deportiva, because what he demonstrated in the first training sessions left everyone speechless. He arrived after an irregular stage, dotted with injuries and a forgettable loan at Aston Villa, but in just a few days, he has shown that he is not there to take a stroll. He is there to be the offensive leader of Barca. One of the coaches said it without a filter: he goes like a plane. And he was not exaggerating. His physical condition is impeccable. His dribbling, explosiveness, and technique have made a mockery of more than one defender during training sessions. It was assumed he would ease into the rotation, but all signs point to him being a starter from the very first friendly match. What's most impressive is not his physical form, but his quick connection with the group. Rashford has found in PEDRI, Rafinha, and LAMINE his accomplices. The chemistry is so natural it seems like he's been in the dressing room for years. Flick is delighted, not just for what he brings on the field, but also for his attitude, maturity, commitment, humility. It's exactly what he was looking for. And the best part is that he can play on the left, in the center, or even as a second striker. His versatility gives Flick a tactical tool he didn't have before, and although his recruitment was conditioned by rigorous medical examinations, everything went smoothly. Even a specific plan was designed to prevent hamstring relapses, his weak point. Everything indicates that Rashford is more than ready to be a starter, but will he be able to maintain this level throughout the season? Will he be the leader who brings Barca back to the top? These are questions that will be answered on the field. For now, what is clear is that Rashford has landed in Barcelona with a mission: to find his best version and help Flick build a new empire. And just when it seemed everything was in the hands of the technical staff, an unexpected norm emerges: the slow registration rule, designed by the league for clubs like Barca facing tight salary limits. This norm allows the registration of 3 players under special conditions, but the trick is in the details. According to Miguel Galán, an expert in sports law, this norm could be the savior. Barca needs to register Rashford and Joan Garcia immediately.
Oh.
Very simple. Only one recruitment with a cost can be registered as such, while the others must be considered free. But if the player's cost is less than 1.5% of the club's total revenue, they can be counted as free, and this is where Joan Garcia's operation fits in. His €25 million transfer falls within this threshold. Thus, Barca would register Rashford as the only one with a real cost, and Joan Garcia would enter without issues. It's a legal trick, yes, but with consequences. This salary margin used now is deducted from next year's budget, a future debt the club will have to settle at all costs. It's a bold move, but Barca doesn't have many alternatives. Flick needs his men ready, and if this mechanism allows them to be available from the pre-season, it will be used. That said, financial planning must be millimetric. One mistake and the sanctions could be devastating. In the midst of this dance of decisions, recruitments, extensions, and departures, Flick's new Barca is beginning to take shape. This is not a superficial change, it's a total transformation, silent but firm. A project that can either bring the club back to the top or sink it if not executed with surgical precision. As the pieces reorganize on the chessboard of the new FC Barcelona, tensions continue to rise within the dressing room and in the silent corridors of the sports management. Rashford's arrival has not only revolutionized the field, but has also shaken the emotional balance of more than one player who thought they had a secure place. When a recruitment arrives with the force of a hurricane, there are inevitably others who get swept away by the current. One of them is Ferran Torres. The Spanish forward, who has been struggling to consolidate his position for 2 seasons, watches with concern as each training session becomes a survival test. It's not just about competing with Rashford, but with an offensive ecosystem where minutes are gold. Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, Barça himself, and now Marcus, who seems to have arrived with the role of untouchable, all add to the competition. Ferran has raised his level in training. He doesn't want to give up, but in his entourage, there is already talk of informal conversations with Italian clubs. Roma and Milan would be willing to offer him a leading role and minutes. In Barcelona, however, the situation is different. Flick has already made it clear that he will count on him, but only if he proves to be better than the others. And this promise sounds more like a warning than genuine support. In parallel, another movement is beginning to take shape. An unexpected name appears on the table. Arda Güler, the young Turkish talent currently at Real Madrid, has hinted at his discomfort with the lack of continuity. And although a move to Barca seems unthinkable due to the historical rivalry, some intermediaries have already explored the possibility of a loan exchange, Güler for Fermin Lopez. A madness, yes, but in the new football, everything is possible if the numbers align and the interests coincide. For now, it's just a rumor, but what is certain is that Fermin is also worried. His role in the team has lost strength since Flick's arrival. Despite his commitment and connection with the fans, the midfielder does not seem to be a priority in the German coach's schemes. And while his agent discusses with clubs in La Liga and the Bundesliga, in the club's offices, they are considering whether a loan could be the best solution for everyone. Meanwhile, the master plan continues to advance. The club has a clear roadmap to consolidate a young, solid base with long-term projection. This is why, in addition to extending Koundé's contract, Laporta and Deco are working to extend Lamine's contract until 2032. Yes, 7 more years, a total blindage. And not just on a contractual level, they are also working on his environment, his physical preparation, his emotional balance, because they know they have a diamond in their hands, but also a 17-year-old teenager who is already a global figure. Lamine is a special case. His relationship with Rashford has been key. The Englishman, with more experience, has become a sort of big brother within the dressing room. He advises him, protects him, and encourages him to improve. Flick views this relationship positively because, beyond tactics, what he seeks is to build unity, a strong and committed group. And Rashford, unknowingly, is already leading this transformation. But not everything is harmony. Deep within the dressing room, there are frictions, and one of them involves Ronald Araujo. The Uruguayan centre-back is one of the natural leaders of the team, his presence, strength, and voice. But Flick, always unpredictable, has started using him as a fullback in some training sessions. A decision that has not been well received, neither by the player nor by part of the technical staff. Araujo wants to continue being the leader of the defense, the central wall. And although he hasn't made any statements, his gesture during the last training session, leaving the field with a serious face after a discussion with Flick, has set off alarm signals.